Meanwhile, the US-backed Syrian Democratic Forces have confirmed to RT that thousands of ISIL terrorists and their family members were allowed to leave Raqqa shortly before the city was fully captured. Earlier, it was reported that the deal with Islamic State was agreed upon with the knowledge of the US-led coalition. We can show you footage that the SDF fighters shared with us. It allegedly shows a convoy of trucks carrying ISIL terrorists. Syrian truckers say they were misled about the convoy and told they would only carry displaced civilians. The deal allowed hundreds of ISIL militants to escape deeper into Syria, while others reportedly made their way straight into Turkey.
I saw the ISIL fighters. They left on buses for Deir ez-Zor. I don't know where they went after that. There were about 3,000 people fleeing, ISIL fighters along with their family members. About 1,000 were injured. Others seemed to be unharmed.
I was working at the grain storehouse when we saw the ISIL militants leave. There were lots of them, but we were not afraid.
Now, according to the testimonies of the convoy's drivers, it carried some 4,000 people and was up to 7 kilometers long. Despite the agreement to only take personal weapons, there were 10 trucks loaded with arms and ammunition. Dozens of foreign fighters reportedly managed to escape with others, with some of them making it out of Syria. The drivers say they were being shouted at and threatened throughout the entire route. Now, the US-led coalition confirms the deal did take place. However, it denies taking part in negotiations. The coalition also says that only 4 foreign fighters were in the convoy, and all 4 were later captured by the SDF. An Israeli court will decide later on Thursday whether to keep a 16-year-old Palestinian girl in custody. Ahed Tamimi attacked Israeli soldiers in the West Bank in front of her house after her teen cousin was shot by a rubber bullet there an hour earlier. The video of the incident with Ahed went viral and is seen by some as a symbol of Palestinian resistance. The video shows Ahed and her cousin kicking and shoving IDF soldiers, and her mother then joins in. As you can see, the 2 soldiers don't respond. All 3 women are currently in custody. An Israeli rubber bullet hit Tamimi's cousin, 14-year-old Mohammed, in the face during protests against the U.S. decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Basel al-Tamimi, who's also an anti-Israel activist, says that his daughter feels she had no choice but to take action.
She likes to call herself as a freedom fighter, or a fighter for the Palestinian issue. She believes that we must struggle directly. All the time she needs to be in front of the soldier, in the direct react, in the clashes with the army. This is what she believes in. For that, when I saw her, when she saw the army, she became more active, more power, and she wants really to fight them.
We requested comment from the Israeli Defense Forces on the girl's case. The IDF says the court is investigating not just her, quote, suspected assault on a soldier, but also Ahed's alleged participation in throwing rocks. And we spoke to former IDF soldier Ori Weisberg.
What happened last week, and the video that's gone viral with her slapping and pushing 2 soldiers, is not part of a protest. It went much more viral once they showed up later on, a few days later, early in the morning, and arrested her, a 16-year-old girl, for pushing somebody who was without any sort of authorization standing on her property. Image of a fearless young woman, she's 16, standing up to fully armed soldiers. And the soldiers, if you notice, they come into these villages, and I did when I served in the IDF as well, fully armed for battle. The heavy military presence within Palestinian communities is 30 years old. The amount of force is overwhelming. These soldiers are only partially trained for doing what are essentially police duties. But you notice they're in full battle dress. They don't look like policemen. I don't think that the IDF sees itself as in a precarious position.